Hello, and welcome back to part 3 of Exploring Shadows of the Erd Tree. Now, for those who watched last episode, you may remember me saying, we shall return back here later. And that's what I plan on doing today. As you can see, we're back here in this keep. Just making casual conversation with our friend over here before we go up to face the main boss of the DLC that was advertised. Now, personally, I kind of had to look this up because I went through this entire area and I was so confused on where I was supposed to go. But after a lot of wandering, it's finally time for the big man himself. After, of course, making sure I get my revenge on this guy over here. Because he almost killed me. So I had to run and grab the grace. Because I just knew there had to be one. And I'm happy I grabbed the grace because obviously I was not ready to fight that guy just as I was. So I had to just quickly wait. And I decided, kind of need my runes. And if I get a few more, maybe I could even level up. And, just being more ready for a boss is always pretty handy. So I buff up, grab him, and sneak attack. And who would have guessed, if I just got my attack off first, I wouldn't have died. I mean, Then just gotta get a way cooler finisher than just another beam. And that's why I like a lot of these, there are a lot of mini bosses in the game that drop some pretty cool armor and stuff. If you guys have been running past those special looking fire soldiers, I recommend going back and finding them. They're super worth it.
Mongrel intruder.
I love wearing the hat in the cutscenes. It looks so funny.
Tarnished, it seemeth. Mother, wouldst thou truly lordship sanction in one so bereft of light? Yet, my purpose standeth unchanged. Those stripped of the grace of gold shall all meet death. In the embrace of Mesmer's flame.
Now, I think Mesmer has a super awesome boss intro cutscene. Not a lot of bosses just have that same kind of menacing effect for their intro scene. But just watching him just standing there with that snake almost made me jump a little bit. Was not ready for that. And I mean, all in all, I also got to learn that apparently watching cutscenes counts as timers for the buff as you see the Moonlight Greatsword go out. So the first few attempts were not the best. They call him the Impaler for a reason. And then as we get over here, get a cool phase transition, of course.
I will not suffer. A lord devoid of light. No, mother. Forgive me. soon tarnished. Wilt thou be taken in the jaws of the abyssal serpent, shorn of light?
Now, I gotta say that face transition was almost painful to watch because I thought that was like a regular eye that he was just about to like squish. You know, I thought it was like maybe a Dragon Communion eye or something. But upon reading some of the lore and learning that it's a glass eye that was like a seal, makes a lot more sense, and is definitely really interesting. Now, if you can't tell by how much healing I had left, it was this was not the attempt, but it was very handy just to kind of see what to expect for the next phase too. But then I also learned there's apparently a kind of story summon you can get in his arena, which I thought was really cool. Because, you know, they just add so much lore, and I was kind of expecting it to be another Igon versus Bale situation. His later kind of learning the lore reason as to what he's doing, which is Mesmir kind of killed his people because his people killed America's people. So he was getting revenge for the revenge that happened. But either way, Mesmir goes down, and definitely one of the coolest fights in this entire game. Then, as we can see, what we can get from his soul or his remembrance is either a new spear or a new spell. Later on, I end up duplicating his remembrance to grab the spear, but you can also get his armor. And I'm personally not a big fan of it because the leggings is like nothing. So I just kind of move on. And I thought with his flame, we could get and burn the shadow at the tree. It turns out I was very wrong about that. So I got a little confused and I looked around for a little bit. And I was trying to find the item in my inventory. And after, because, you know, I don't open my inventory this way very much. So I had to look and see what's even categorized as. But I looked down at it. And as I read it, I see it says it needs to be burned at the Raw Ruins. That's how I'm going to pronounce that. And wouldn't you know it, this is where I was earlier. I thought there was absolutely nothing here. So I just returned back, and I'm just double checking a few things. Learning where I have to go. And I literally stopped exploring here. Like maybe 10 minutes of exploring. No, like, honestly, if I just ran, it would have been like 5 minutes to the boss, which, you know, it was pretty frustrating to see that. So hopped on my horse and I got going. Which this area I thought looked wonderful. You know, just a nice kind of wetlands, but eventually had to go grab a few items, but then it was time for the boss and on the way to burn the shadow tree. And there is a summon you could get for this boss, but it was outside the arena, and it was this weird looking guy. And personally, I had no connection to him. I thought he was weird, so I decided not to grab him. And so this one is a Scarlet Rot boss of some sort. I mean, we know Millennia is the like main Rot embodiment, so I'm unsure what this thing was, and I've yet to look it up because honestly I wasn't too interested. Obviously the round's off to a amazing start, being Scarlet Rotted with literally no damage was done. And of course I had no way to heal it, which, you know, it's just icing on the cake. But as you can see, the damage I do is more than enough that I was able to get it done actually while rotted. I mean, you know, it wasn't that hard of a boss. And I was honestly surprised that it's a remembrance boss. I mean, there was no cutscene or anything, so I really just thought it was going to be an average boss fight. I made sure before anything else I had to go and heal. But from the remembrance, you can get a spell and another kind of spear. I didn't have the stats for any of them, so I just grabbed the spell. But here's where you bring Mesmir's Flame to burn the shadow away. Now, how does burning this small tree, like, take down that veil of entire shadow? I got no clue. I mean, it didn't make sense to me, but it was definitely a cool to kind of just watch it. The castle just. It almost looks like it was like just spawned there. Like it wasn't there or like came from another dimension or something. It's hard to explain whatever this was. But it's definitely just cool to watch. And it's magnificent right there. Absolutely a glorious view. And of course, when I'm right here in front of the what I was at the time assuming the final boss, I knew exactly what there was to do left. And, it's a little classic thing I like to call anything else but the final boss. So I just get here and I grab this grace, obviously to make sure I have a way back. And just level up because, I mean, I just beat a boss, have some souls, might as well. And then I remember that after the dancing lion there was a some of that kind of shadow. So I thought, oh, you know what? Maybe we should explore over there, see if that's something new. So I teleported over and forgot how to get there for just a moment. But then run up over. And as funny as it may be, I didn't even remember there was an elevator here. So I was just looking at that thing, wondering what on earth is that before I pulled the lever. And in case you're curious, you don't really have to go here because from that first grace that you get teleported to, if you literally just run up, if I remember correctly, there was like no enemies. You just have to walk up a staircase and you get to where this leads. So I mean, really, this is like I guess more of a proper entrance, but it is not at all necessary to go this way. But also kind of like the whole design of this place. It makes me think of like a Gothic cathedral in a way, and that's one of my personal favorite building styles. So it's definitely nice to see it here. I also kind of noticed they have a lot of in this area, a lot of like elevators that are raised up, and we just got to pull them down and wait. It's like kind of a time waster here. Like how hard would it have been for this elevator to be right here on the ground instead of me needing to pull it up? I guess pull the elevator down so I can go up. I mean, who cares? Send it back down. Because I didn't know what to expect here. I enter near a limb. That's how I'm going to call it. And that's why I decided. No, well, that's after that. I decided to go explore this cathedral. I was looking at it from the map view, and I really wanted to get there because it just looked so cool to me. And I was also really excited when I made it in because it actually had a cathedral design inside of it. Like this actual like, some places have the outside appearance of a cathedral, but this was like a legitimate one, which had me super excited. So I was kind of expecting, well, I didn't know what to really expect here. Then I saw that guy in the distance. I remembered seeing him from a trailer, so I was like, okay, boss time. But then the golden circle thing said
Well,
couldn't attack. So
we
I
don't
was
often
excited to see what
receive
this guy
visitors.
had to say.
I am Emir. Welcome to Manus Meta. It is a pleasure to have you. In lands so forsaken as these, chance encounters are precious indeed. Seeing that we have convened here on this day, allow me to mark the occasion with a modest offering.
Now, if you remember from, once again, last video, I said we would return here later. And we are back, as promised. Now, I was not expecting for this to lead back here, but I was not at all disappointed. As I head up, of course, I honestly didn't feel like fighting those, I don't know, what are they, snake, worm things, I don't know. I was just here to do something with this bell whistle item. I'm still not actually entirely sure what it is. Because it's called a bell. But it almost looks like we blow into it or something. Like, we don't push it. So, is it like a giant whistle? I don't know. We head back and talk to Big Man again.
Oh, there you are. The exalted timbre of the bell has reached. Gracious, the starry sky is wondrous tonight indeed. Only your fate shines brighter now.
That charm is another handy spellcasting charm. It allows you to cast spells faster, but you take a little more damage. And then I had to run through this whole area to get to the second whistle bell thing. I'm not gonna lie, I was actually pretty confused on where I got to go here. I fell into the water a lot, but, I just kept going. And once again, I'll also be back here to do a boss. But just for now, I make my way down. And I saw a door. I'm like, oh, that definitely looks important. I used that key that I got from the invader. And once you know it, there he is right there.
Grant me thy grace. Leave me with my solitary light. Queen Marika, take not...
And I have this whatever item called an Iris of Grace. I had no clue what it was.
Queen Marika, dearest mother, I shall silence all who would trespass upon thy peace, as decreed by the grace of gold. No soul shall thy sanctity imperil.
They're calling me Queen America. I don't know. I think he was weird. But you get him as a spirit ash, and hey, free item's a free item. So I just keep on moving and grooving. As we head up this elevator, we're back once again in the specimen storehouse. And honestly, I was pretty confused for this part. Just had a lot of back and forth to do. And of course, I saw another one of these guys, so I had to take him out just in case he was another unique one. And I did see he had an item, and I need every item I can get. And it was a thrusting shield. I have yet to try it out, but it had some pretty good blocking stats if anyone's interested in getting it. But I make my way through, and people may know this boss, and I gotta say, it's a pretty horrible one. I get out, summon my guy, and I'm killed. This is regular new game, not new game plus. I have 60 health or more. It might be 70 even. I kind of learned you have to hop on your horse immediately. I think his attacks almost count like it's a double hit or something. I'm not entirely sure. But either way, if you're on your horse, Torrent takes most of the damage. And I mean, living longer is living longer, you know. And then it actually kind of becomes a cool battle, riding on horseback, fighting each other. That is until Torrent dies when you get stuck in a corner. And then Torrent died again, and I only had one flask left. And I knew I could definitely not do it hitless. I mean, obviously. But, I mean, his moveset's just so weird and unique. But I take him out, and he takes me out. So, tied game. It was once again more of a Mimic kill than a me kill. But, hey, he's done. And the Mimic is me, so basically I got him, you know? But then I went to go and check what you can get from his remembrance. Because, you know, once again, another remembrance boss. And he has one of the most interesting items. Because you can get a weapon that's not a somber weapon from his remembrance. And out of every boss in the game, that's the only one I knew of that could do that. But anyway, so I blew the second bell whistle, and when I returned, the guy was missing. So I decided to go downstairs, check out what he has there. And I gotta say, I was not expecting this to be under this cathedral. So I just took my time and took it in because it looked awesome. And then I got invaded, which I was also kind of not ready for. As you could see, my weapon wasn't even in hand. But, I mean, it wasn't a struggle. But their weapon, actually pretty cool. It's like a claw type weapon that you can throw for its Ash of War. So it's like Wolverine if he had like a launch feature. I haven't tried it against people, but I'm assuming against like big bosses it would do like major damage. And anyways, I went up and I blew a whistle, and then I saw that in the distance, whatever that thing was. So, you know, I got my typical buffs on. Walked up and learned it was the Mother of Fingers. So the thing that created all the two fingers all in the lands between. I don't know if it created the Frenzy Flame Finger. I mean, it says Mother of Fingers in general, so like maybe? I don't know. That's kind of up to personal interpretation, but that's my guess. After all, it doesn't say Mother of 2 fingers or Mother of 3, 4, 5 fingers. It just said in general. But as you can see, this boss is not difficult. I mean, he's got a weird kind of abilities there. But just in general, Moonlight Greatsword just doesn't lose. Especially once it got frostbitten, it became a lot easier. And it's kind of hard to tell what it has on its back. It almost looks like a solar eclipse, kind of, which is kind of cool. But yeah, just me and my Mimic take it down. I thought I was dead, but I'm happy I went for the jump attack. And I don't think we kill it. It looks like it flees. Which is interesting, because now I kind of wonder, where did it go? But anyways, I returned back to the cathedral. And despite what I would have expected, because I was kind of looking around for a little bit, I get invaded by her again. I don't know why she's so obsessed with fighting me here. But I mean, it's not hard. Who knew a plus 10 weapon makes enemies like so easy to beat, right?
You will be my shining star. Grant me a mother's strength.
And then I get double invaded?
I will be
And guy looks a little more crazy now. I don't know what it is. And then this is a boss fight. A boss fight invasion. He summons a hand and teleports. Then he has like a finger cage. I don't know what this guy was on. But it was kind of cool. But despite, because he's just a person, I can kind of just combo him with my sword swings. So, you know. Not a hard boss. But for story-wise, definitely was very cool to see. But he wanted to be my mother or something. I don't know what guy was on. But you get all of his stuff. And free stuff is free stuff. And I decided to just rest and see if I get a third thing from walking back in here. And wouldn't you know it, there's the lady in the black armor over there. But anyways, I'm over here now. And I knew there would be something here. And I remember seeing this guy as part of the, like, advertisements and stuff. And I hate to say it, he was kind of comboing me, which I was not expecting. And then, you know, just a simple light attack spam takes him down.
Enough. I have endured more than enough. I ask you forgive me, dearest Nanaya.
At this point, my mouth, well, my jaw had completely dropped. I was not expecting this small man to turn into this Lord of the Frenzied Flame. And his moveset is very interesting. It was like, it almost felt to me more like a Dark Souls boss. The way it was kind of like slow. There was not really a, what do you call it, like where there was like no wait times for his swings. He was just going. And so this is, if you guys have not gone here, you definitely have to come and fight this man, because he's one of the coolest bosses in the game. Now, he does have that madness build up, but I don't know. I didn't find it to be too bad. And he does, of course, though, have some difficulty with it. I found a pretty easy poise break, too, which is always nice. And the fire AoEs are just so cool to look at, too. It's just such a satisfying boss to fight. But with just, of course, sadly a few swings, I get a riposte from a poise break, and his madness has been ended. And I'll say, for it's such an awesome area that he's in. If you have not made your way to the Abyss, I recommend it. But I'd also say, don't pick up his sword. It sounds awesome, but it's not cool. It's not that good. And as I could see, you couldn't get any armor from him either. That's probably all I'm going to do for this video. Hope you guys have a good day.